The Sweet 16 is set, and it's time for me to make my predictions for every single Sweet 16 matchup that we got. Let's start off with the Thursday slate, where we kick things off with BYU versus Alabama. Honestly, in my opinion, the toughest game to predict. I have been back and forth with this one. When the matchup was first announced, or it became official, I had Alabama. I was leaning Alabama, but as the week has gone on, I flip-flop back and forth, back and forth. At this point in time, I feel I'm more confident in BYU than Alabama. The thing about this game is that these two teams have such similar styles in terms of the way they play. They both just shoot the lights out of the place. And you could see that in the over-under being 175 points. For a college game, 175 points is insane. Both of these teams can light it up from all over the court. And they play just the exact same style. And the risk with this game is that it doesn't matter what side you bet on, one of these teams can shoot themselves out of a game, right? If Alabama has a bad shooting night, BYU can dominate. If BYU has a bad shooting night, Alabama can dominate. This game is probably the game I'm least confident about out of all 8 matchups, but my official pick is going to be BYU to cover the spread and beat Alabama. Kind of an upset if you want to call it that. Look, BYU looked amazing versus Wisconsin. Amazing. Every time Wisconsin tried to claw their way back into the game, BYU shut the door right in their face. They would hit the clutchest shots ever. I mean, every three-pointer they would chuck up, it would just go nothing but net. I'm like, what the fuck? It was crazy to watch BYU shoot the way they shot versus Wisconsin. Alabama has been up and down. They had a very shitty performance in the first round and then recovered and bounced back nicely in the second round. But honestly, I think the second round matchup versus St. Mary's was very beneficial for Alabama. Their style matched St. Mary's style very well. So Alabama dominated because of just matchup nightmare. Look, Alabama's got the star players, but BYU's got some studs themselves. Richie Saunders has been amazing. Igor's been a beast. I'm going BYU to cover. I'm going BYU to win. I'm going to sprinkle BYU spread. I'm not going to bet it hard, maybe like half a unit, 0.3 units. I think that's the best way to play BYU. The game I'm least confident about in all honesty. But for my official pick, I'm going to go BYU to cover, BYU to win, and hopefully they continue rolling. Next game, we have Maryland versus Florida. This game I'm fucking confident about. Let's start with the fact that Maryland are the luckiest motherfuckers alive. If you guys know or watch my Round of 32 video, you would know that I had Colorado State covering and beating Maryland. Colorado State played their asses off. They played lights out the whole game just for Maryland to clutch up in the very end. I'm sick to my stomach watching that bitch boy, Derek Queen, hit that game winner. I fucking hate Derek Queen. He's a motherfucker. I hated him before the shot, and I hate him even more after the shot. Colorado State should have upset Maryland. I'm sick of this bullshit. But that's not the way the cookie crumbled. So Maryland is now playing Florida. Florida got tested real nicely by UConn, back-to-back defending champs. And Florida really had to pull that one out of the fire. They clutched up at the end, made some big shots. Walter Clayton hit some big three-pointers. And Florida moved on after a really tough matchup versus UConn. Maryland and Florida, similar to BYU and Alabama, have very similar styles. They have great shooting guards, and they have big men that can really fuck you up in the paint. The thing about Maryland that they lack compared to Florida is that everything Florida can do, or I should say everything Maryland can do, Florida can do better. Florida has the better guard play. Florida has the better bigs. The Crab 5 is great. Don't get me wrong. The Crab 5 is amazing. But there's no depth on this team. They don't have a bench, and they have to rely on the Crab 5. If any one of those Crab 5 players don't play well, whether it's Derek Queen or whether it's any of the guards just not being able to have a good shooting night, they won't beat Florida. Florida is too deep. They have 4 big men. 4 big men that they could rotate all game long. They have great guard play that anyone can really light it up. Look, maybe it's me being biased because of how much I fucking hate Maryland for what they did to Colorado State. I also love Florida. But realistically speaking, give me Florida. Give me Florida to win. Give me Florida to cover. I'm going to be betting on Florida. Parlay, moneyline parlay, and I'm going to be betting them against the spread. Yeah, it's a decent sized number, but I think Maryland got super, super lucky versus Colorado State. I think Florida is going to come out there and slap them in the mouth. Their guard play is better, and their bigs are going to rough up Maryland's bigs. Even if you take the starters and say, okay, Derek Queen and Julian Reese are better than the Florida starters, what's going to happen when the bench players comes in? If I'm Florida, I'm playing super rough this entire game because I'm not worried about foul trouble considering I have 4 different big men I can rotate in and out. Maryland is not going to be able to match that rough style because if they get in foul trouble, they're done for. They are done for. With that being said, give me Florida to win. Give me Florida to cover. I actually really like Florida in this position. I'm going to bet Florida hard. I hope they fuck up Maryland so badly that Maryland regrets beating Colorado State. Next game, Arizona versus Duke. Interesting little matchup we got here. Duke has been dominant, pure domination the whole way through, blown everybody out, and this spread is ginormous, the biggest of all 8 games. Duke has the better roster. Don't get me wrong, Duke has by far the better roster. But Arizona has the Duke killer, Caleb Love. Now, I know if you look at statistics, that's kind of overblown. But what everybody does think of is that 2022 Final Four shot where Caleb Love shot a great three-pointer in Duke's mouth to end their season. The last game Coach K coached. So Caleb Love has the formula to beat Duke. Will Arizona have enough talent and firepower to beat Duke? I don't think so. Cooper Flagg's going to be a matchup nightmare, complete matchup nightmare for Arizona, and he's going to do whatever he wants. With that being said, I actually believe this spread is a little bit too high. I think Arizona is decent enough to keep the game close. So give me Arizona to cover, Duke to win. I don't know if I'm going to be betting this game. Maybe like I did with the BYU game, a sprinkle on Arizona. I'm not overly confident in Arizona covering. So I would take Arizona a little sprinkle to cover. I think they'll be able to play well enough to match up with Duke. But in the end, Duke is just too talented, too big. I don't see how Arizona will slow Duke down. Their only hope is that they can shoot themselves into the game and keep them within striking distance of Duke. Otherwise, Arizona's going to get the top blown off of them badly. So I'll take Arizona to cover, Duke to win. Next game, final game of the Thursday slate, Arkansas versus Texas Tech. Arguably the best game and what should be the closest game in my humble opinion. Arkansas has been on fire. Absolute fire. John Calipari has done an absolutely fantastic job with this Arkansas team. They're getting healthy at the right time. All their star players are coming back. They're in it, and they looked amazing. They looked amazing versus Kansas. They looked amazing versus St. John's. Don't sleep on Arkansas. Now, Texas Tech has also looked very, very good. First round matchup was but they definitely beat the shit out of Drake in that second round matchup. Originally, I had Texas Tech matching up with Florida in the Elite Eight, and I thought Texas Tech was going to go very far. But right now, Texas Tech is running into a powerhouse that is Arkansas. I don't think Texas Tech will be able to size up with Arkansas. I think Abdu, I forget his name. You guys know. The big man for Arkansas is going to play bully ball. And all the other dudes too, Brazil, right? John L. Davis. These guys are going to just ball out. They have the experience. A lot of these guys have gone deep on deep runs before. John Calipari. He has beat all the fraud allegations after these last 2 games. Texas Tech has a great team. I really do like Texas Tech, but I'm taking Arkansas to cover and win. I really like Arkansas in this position. First of all, the spread, like in the St. John's game, is too big. It really is. 5.5 points is way too big. Give me Arkansas spread all day. I'm betting that one. I'm betting that one hard. It's not like these other two games. The way I'm betting Florida hard is the way I'm betting Arkansas hard. Arkansas is going to keep this game close, if not win it. But even in the sakes of picking, I'm going to take Arkansas to upset Texas Tech. It's just the team that Arkansas has assembled. They're getting hot at the right time. They're playing such good basketball. I don't see Texas Tech beating Arkansas, especially because at times they can be a very shaky team. Give me Arkansas to cover and win, and I'm betting Arkansas to cover, and I'm betting it hard. Now let's move on to the Friday slate. All right. We kick off the Friday slate with Mississippi versus Michigan State. I told y'all Mississippi's going to be here. I told y'all. You guys should have listened. Everyone was picking against Mississippi in the first round versus UNC. That was a stupid mistake. And then even the Iowa State game, everyone was disrespecting Mississippi, saying Iowa State's going to roll them. Iowa State's going to roll them. Yeah, keep dreaming. Mississippi beat the dog shit out of Iowa State. And I mean, they technically beat the dog shit out of UNC also. UNC made a little comeback at the end to make it close, but in the reality, Mississippi dominated both of those games from start to finish. Mississippi has been shooting the lights out this whole tournament. But will they be able to continue to shoot lights out against a team like Michigan State that has absolutely amazing defense? Michigan State dominated Bryant, and they dominated New Mexico. What's funny is that in both games, like the entire season, Michigan State started out really slow, and then the second half just went into another gear and just bullied both Bryant and New Mexico, covering both spreads. They were down like 10 versus New Mexico early, and they ended up covering the spread. That's how badly Michigan State beat New Mexico in that second game, or I should say that second half too. Eventually, Michigan State's style of play will come back to haunt them. They can't start out slow versus everybody and just kick it into second gear in the second half. Eventually, it's going to come bite them in the ass. It's not going to happen here. Mississippi is not going to continue to shoot the way they have shot over those last two games. It has to run out eventually, and it's more of what's going to give first. Michigan State's lackluster starts or Mississippi's shooting performances. Michigan State can lock down Mississippi. That's Michigan State's specialty. Their defense is absolutely amazing. Tom Izzo has fantastic defensive schemes that he draws up. And just how deep Michigan State is, that's another advantage that they have over a majority of teams. Maybe except like Florida. It would be the only one. And maybe Houston as well. Just Michigan State is so deep and they play with so many people that can light it up. They don't need to rely on one specific person to carry them. They have so many different options that they can rely on for each specific game. Michigan State is the better team. I have Michigan State going far as the Final Four, and that's not going to change. Give me Michigan State to win, Michigan State to cover. I'm going to bet Michigan State moneyline, throw that in a parlay with Florida moneyline, and I'm going to also bet Michigan State against the spread. I'm really big believer in Michigan State. I think they're better than Mississippi. I don't think Mississippi's going to continue to have the shooting performance that they've had. Michigan State is just better at defense, slowing the game down, and they're going to play a Michigan State style of basketball, not a Mississippi fast-paced scoring style of basketball. Tom Izzo in March is a lock. Give me Michigan State to win, Michigan State to cover. I got Michigan State all day, every day. Next game, we have Kentucky versus Tennessee. SEC matchup over here. Absolutely amazing SEC matchup. Kentucky looked fantastic in their first two wins versus Troy and then versus Illinois. Tennessee has looked good too. Not going to take anything away from Tennessee. They bullied UCLA. Absolutely bullied UCLA. So you're coming on two teams that are very hot. Very hot. However, what's interesting about this game is the spread. It's 4.5 points. There's a lot of faith from Vegas in Tennessee. This Kentucky team has beaten Tennessee not once, but twice. That actually, one of those games, Kentucky was missing their star player, and they still beat Tennessee. That says a lot. Similar to the BYU-Alabama game, I've been going back and forth with this matchup. I cannot figure out who I like, who I don't like. I want to take the bitch-made choice and say Kentucky covers and Tennessee wins, But I'm not doing that shit. It's March Madness. I'm making big boy picks. I like Kentucky a lot. I really, really like Kentucky a lot. I've been fading Tennessee quite a bit this tournament. Right, I obviously bet against them when they played UCLA. That cost me, and it bit me in the ass. But I'm going to do it again. Give me Kentucky to cover. Give me Kentucky to win. I'm going to bet Kentucky to cover. Not that hard, but hard enough. I like Kentucky. I like the way they play their style of ball. They can shoot very efficiently. They can lock down when they need a lockdown. I don't think this Tennessee team is as good as the Tennessee teams of prior years, especially last year. I think last year was the best chance Tennessee had to win a natty, and they blew it. Give me Kentucky. Give me Kentucky to cover. Give me Kentucky to win. I know it's very difficult to beat the same team 3 times in one season, but Kentucky has just been lights out this year. Tennessee can win this. Tennessee can easily win this. But I just have so much more faith in Kentucky. You see, I'm so conflicted on this game. I'm not even that confident, saying Kentucky's going to win. I'm thinking, every time I say it, I'm like, damn, maybe I should take Tennessee. But fuck it. I'm going to roll with Kentucky. Give me Kentucky to cover. Give me Kentucky to win. I like Kentucky in this position. Again, like I said earlier, Kentucky's a sleeper Final Four pick. Kentucky's going to roll over Tennessee. They're going to beat them. They're going to outshoot them. The defense is going to be the difference maker for both teams, but I think Kentucky will play harder defense. Give me Kentucky to win. Give me Kentucky to cover. I'm going to bet Kentucky to cover as well. Next game, Michigan versus Auburn, my favorite game of the entire Sweet 16. You guys know this is the matchup that I predicted to happen in my bracket video for the March Madness, the full bracket. And look, has anything changed? Hell no! So if you watch that video, you know who I'm picking here. But just to give you a little bit of clarification, Auburn's guard play has been fantastic, right? Chad Baker-Mazara got injured. We'll see how badly he's injured. I haven't heard that he's not playing. Maybe they're keeping it a secret, maybe not. But in any case, I still feel that he will play and will have an impact. Maybe not as much as he could have if he wasn't injured, but nevertheless, he'll still have an impact. Broome is the real difference maker for this Auburn team, and Broome has been banged up. He's not healthy. He hasn't been scoring as many points as he normally did during the regular season. And even though Broome hasn't been playing to those standards, it wouldn't have mattered. This Michigan team is massive. Their bigs are going to shut down Broome. I don't care if it's Danny Wolf. I don't care if it's Vladislav Golden. They're going to stop Auburn. They're going to stop Broome. They're not going to be able to shoot in the paint at all. They're not going to be able to drive. The only hope Auburn has, genuinely, is if they just completely outshoot Michigan. They can shoot more threes and score more threes than Michigan can, but they have to make sure they make those threes. Michigan defense is really good. I really like Michigan. I like the way Michigan has been playing. Donaldson is going to be a key player for Michigan, by the way, former Auburn player. In any case, Donaldson's going to have to be the scoring guard for Michigan, lead the way, allow his scoring to open up the floor more for Vladislav and Danny Wolf. I think Michigan destroys Auburn. Destroys Auburn. The fact that this spread is 9.5 points is fucking disrespectful, and I'm sick and tired of the bullshit and the disrespect towards Michigan. They were disrespected by the spread versus UC San Diego. They were disrespected by the spread versus Texas A&M, and both times they have covered and shown the world they are not to be fucked with. Give me Michigan to cover the spread, and give me Michigan to upset Auburn. I'm telling y'all, Michigan is the better team. Auburn are frauds. They are such frauds. Everyone is overrating them because of how good of a regular season they had. It's not the regular season anymore. Auburn is not playing at the level they're supposed to be playing at, and Michigan is getting hot at the perfect time. They won the Big Ten tournament. They look great in their first 2 matchups, and I think the bigs for Michigan will make all the difference in the world. Nobody's going to be able to guard Vladislav Golden. Broome is not guarding Golden. Golden's going to bully ball in the paint. And Danny Wolf can play iso ball, whether it's on Broome or anyone else that guards him, and just dominate. Michigan is too talented for Auburn. I don't like the Michigan disrespect. Give me Michigan to cover, Michigan to win. I'm betting this game, and I'm betting it super hard. I love Michigan spread. I love Michigan money line. I know it's kind of crazy. They're 9.5-point underdogs, but motherfucker, I'm telling y'all, Michigan is going to beat Auburn. Come back to this video when I'm right. I guarantee it. Give me Michigan spread. Give me Michigan money line all day. And now we move on to the final game, Purdue versus Houston. I fucking hate Purdue. Those motherfuckers just don't deserve to be here. They're so fucking lucky with their matchups. Lucky versus High Point, Lucky versus McNeese. Now they're playing a legitimate team. Houston has been great all season long. Houston played great versus Gonzaga. Gonzaga gave them a little scare at the end, but overall for how talented Gonzaga was and how much of a threat Gonzaga was supposed to be versus Houston, Houston dominated them the whole game. Houston has a smothering defense. Kaufman-Renn for Purdue has been the X factor during their March Madness so far. Even, during their whole season as well. But the way Houston matches up with Purdue, I don't see Kaufman-Renn dominating. Anyone on Houston can guard Kaufman-Renn, and they're going to slow him down. They're not going to allow Purdue to shoot. They're not going to allow Purdue to drive. Houston is better than Purdue every single way possible. I don't see Purdue winning this game. I don't see Purdue covering this game. Give me Houston money line. Give me Houston spread. The Houston money line you could throw in with like a parlay, like a Florida Houston, Florida Michigan State Houston, something like that. Maybe if you want to do very chalky favorites, you can do Florida Duke Houston. That's the way. If you want to do it like that. I'll throw Houston money line into a parlay. But in addition to the parlay, I will be betting Houston spread. I think they're gonna run circles around Purdue. Purdue are frauds. They don't deserve to be here. And Michigan. And Houston is gonna absolutely expose them. Don't sleep on Houston. Houston's going to beat the dog shit out of those frauds that are Purdue. And those are my official picks for the Sweet 16. Let me know your thoughts below, who you got, if you agree, disagree, and stay tuned for my Elite 8 predictions coming soon.